Have you been sipping something? This is insanity, man. How does this lady still have a job, dude? What is going on?
The conversation around the Indiana Fever has now crossed into dangerous territory because this no longer feels like normal coaching criticism. This feels like a franchise pulling in two completely different directions while the entire basketball world watches in real time. On one side, you have a generational player in Caitlin Clark, a guard capable of bending defenses before possessions even develop. On the other side, you have a coaching philosophy that increasingly looks determined to slow the game down, redistribute control, and force structure onto a roster built for explosive offensive freedom. And after Stephanie White's latest comments to media, fans are asking a question that suddenly feels impossible to ignore. Are the Fever actually maximizing their superstar, or are they actively fighting against the very thing that makes this team dangerous?
Have you been sipping something? This is insanity, man. How does this lady still have a job, dude? What is going on? Take a listen to this nonsense.
You know, we've got opportunities to play through Maisha and Didi in the same way that we do, AB, especially in the quarter court.
What? You have Caitlin Clark, the best player in the world, easily the best point guard. The reason.
With Aaliyah Boston dealing with injury concerns and Indiana forced to adjust its interior rotation, this should have been the moment where the offense became even more centered around Caitlin Clark's playmaking brilliance. Most teams faced with losing a foundational post presence simplify the equation immediately. Put the ball in your elite creator's hands and let her control tempo, spacing, and decision-making. That is the obvious basketball answer, especially when that creator happens to be one of the most gifted offensive engines the WNBA has seen in years. But instead of signaling a more aggressive Clark-centered attack, Stephanie White introduced a completely different idea, one that instantly reignited concerns about the direction of this offense and the identity this coaching staff truly wants.
Her out of here. Please get her out of here, man. Stephanie White has got to go, and she needs to be gone right now. Get her out of here, man. This is insane, man. Caitlin Clark is just dealing with sabotage from the highest order, and it's just ridiculous and disgusting. Now, there's some other things we got to get into, and I'm going to get into the keys for the...
When Stephanie White explained that Indiana could run more offense through its backup interior players in Boston's absence, the reaction around the WNBA world was immediate, not because involving role players is inherently wrong, but because of what that statement implied about offensive priorities. This is a team with Caitlin Clark, a player whose gravity alone changes defensive structure before the first screen is even set. Every defense loads up on her. Every transition possession begins with panic the moment she crosses half court. So when fans hear that the solution might involve taking the ball out of her hands more often instead of less, it creates a level of confusion that speaks to a much larger concern surrounding this franchise right now.
Hit the ball does not mean you automatically have to shoot it. You don't have to shoot it every time, Kelsey. It's okay to push the X button on the controller and pass the ball. This was ridiculous.
Mitchell pulls.
Come on, man. 3-on-1 feel like, come on, man. Pass the ball.
A weird hop there. Now here comes the Fever. Mitchell pulls.
But the most fascinating part of this entire situation came next, because Caitlin Clark's response at the podium was far more revealing than most people realized at first listen. On the surface, it sounded calm, supportive, and completely team-oriented. But underneath that polished answer was a very careful choice of language that deserves a closer look. Because Clark managed to protect the locker room publicly while still avoiding a full endorsement of the offensive philosophy surrounding her.
Breathe too hard next to her. She's going to get free throws. Paige Beckers is getting all these free throws, even on the NBA side. All of the big-time scorers get to the free throw line. So I want to see Caitlin Clark get to that free throw line 6 to 7 times in this game today. I think if she's able to do that, things will be fine offensively, because that means she's being aggressive and she's looking for a shot as well. The number 3 key to victory.
There have also been too many possessions lately where Indiana's offense collapses into rushed isolation basketball instead of controlled advantage creation. The problem is not aggression. The problem is decision-making under pressure. There's a difference between attacking a defense and forcing shots before the defense is actually broken down. Against elite teams, those empty possessions become momentum killers. And for Indiana to fully unlock this roster, the ball movement has to consistently reward the advantages Caitlin Clark creates instead of ending possessions prematurely. What made Clark's answer so intelligent was the precision behind it. She described a very specific basketball situation. A teammate left completely open. In that scenario, of course the correct read is to make the pass. Every elite guard in the world makes that decision instantly. But notice what she carefully avoided saying. She never fully endorsed an offense built around removing the ball from her control in critical half-court possessions. She never claimed Indiana functions best when she becomes a stationary off-ball player, while others initiate the action. That distinction matters, and it is exactly why her comments became such a major talking point after practice. And now the pressure shifts directly onto the floor, because Indiana's upcoming matchup against the Portland Fire suddenly feels much bigger than a regular season game in May. This is a type of matchup that exposes what a team truly believes about itself. Portland is still building its defensive identity as an expansion franchise, which means Indiana will have opportunities offensively that simply do not exist against the league's elite defenses. And that creates a fascinating test case for Stephanie White's system against a defense that lacks elite perimeter containment. This should be the kind of game where Caitlin Clark completely controls offensive rhythm from start to finish. The pace should increase. The transition opportunities should increase.